radical agenda movement in the NMA, RAMINBA.
Good afternoon, dear fellow Nigerians, friends, and general citizens of the world. Good afternoon. Like we've announced before, via the radical agenda movement in the NMA, RAMINBA, that I shall be on Facebook Live by 12 this afternoon. And so we are grateful if you have tuned in and you're already with us. It's important, it's very important that the voice of lawyers in the country be heard nationally, by way of the branches, by way of fora, and as individuals. For we are leaders of society and we cannot afford to maintain a policy of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We can't afford to be deaf and dumb. These are extraordinary times, you will agree with me. We've been on the lockdown since when? About in Lagos now, about 2 weeks now. And as practitioners, especially the advocates, we've not been working again for about 2 weeks. And we still have 1 week to go. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19, the pandemic that has turned the whole world and turned it topsy-turvy. Compared to some other countries, we are not doing badly, and we thank God about that. I want to speak today on the proposed and very imminent help of the Chinese team to boost Nigeria's fight against coronavirus. For about 5 days now, about a week, we've been inundated with the news that the federal government has sent a Macedonian call to China to help and send a medical team, and that China has obliged, and that the team will soon be arriving in this country. Many people are worried, including myself, including my organization. I'm talking of the radical agenda movement in the NMA, RAMINBA. We are concerned because of the antecedents of the of China and its link with this particular disease pandemic. Everybody knows that it has originated from Wuhan in China, and a lot of people have died. And of course, there's a lot of blame game between China and most of the other Western democracies, like Spain, like Italy, like the US, like Britain. And then to make matters worse, suddenly the things seem to be drying up in China, and yet it's exploding in these other countries very alarmingly. And people are wondering how on earth was China able to quickly cope with that problem in their country? How on earth? There are speculations and insinuations that probably they have a secret formula about it, or rather they kept quiet about solution, did not share with other parts of the country, other parts of the world, of the globe. And more alarmingly, there were some pictures, we don't know whether it's propaganda now, of pictures of Chinese people seen deliberately contaminating face masks and all that. It's worrisome. About a day ago, the Nigerian Medical Association spoke out against this invitation of the Chinese to come to help. As a professional body, I think they should be respected. Generally, the position of the NMA is that the country is coping by itself so far admirably, so much so that the United Nations has congratulated us, and that even the situation on ground will warrant the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the medical sector and overhaul it, use it as an opportunity to overhaul it, instead of bringing these suspected agents of infection. And people alleging the possibility of sabotage of the world's largest number of Africans may not be dismissed anyhow. Well, everybody knows what's happened in the past with the case of vaccination, the involvement of Pfizer, and it was found out that really the speculation about deliberate sterilization of people and all these things have occurred. And in the 40s, in the US, the civilist tests that on black people, black Americans, is still there. And it was said that even a former president Bill Clinton had to apologize to the blacks in America for all that. The African nation and the blacks generally may have reason to worry. After the demise of Libya, again, it's another president of America that admitted and apologized. It was a policy mistake to have instigated rebellion against Libya and to cause the downfall of that place. Is no longer prosperous but war-torn and troubled. Our own position as an organization is that the federal government ought to be very circumspect in this issue of bringing help. So far, what is the situation in the country? There have been so much alarm, but the deaths have been low. And we've been hearing stories of a growing number of people being discharged. And we think that it is not good for the federal government to continue to ride a high horse of knowledge, that they know it all. The NMA made a very important thing, that they were not consulted, and that the presidential task force that is handling the issue of the COVID-19, the battle against it, should be expanded to include more stakeholders, including journalists, including doctors from the NMA and other health players. I should say the NBA too should participate, should be included, because we are the wise men of the community. There is nothing from cradle to grave. There's no aspect of human life that is not governed by laws. And so we are lending our voice to the NMA to appeal to the federal government of Nigeria and other possible governments to be very, very careful. You should carry our people along. Explanation should be made. I'm glad to read about the NCC making a statement out on the issue of the 5G and the link or non-link with the coronavirus. That's how it should be. Not for the government to be aloof to the people and to think that the people, their opinions and their fears do not matter. It should matter, because we matter. The government exists for the people and not for the people for the government.